So as I said, I like to make cheeky bootlegs to play out, but this wasn't a cheeky bootleg to play out. This was a cheeky bootleg because my mate, he just said, I keep singing this line from this song over this other tune, and every time I sing it over the tune, it sounds nice. But I've no idea if they would ever fit together. Okay? So the original tune that he kept singing along to was this tune, which is by a guy called Sébastien Tellier. Really lovely musical thing, all right? Now, the tune that he kept singing one line from is this one. I'm just going to turn off all the plugins and then put them on one by one. And this tune actually is one of my favourite tunes when I was young. I really used to like the album and the first album of this artist. Actually, the tune initially... Oh, let's turn the delay off for a minute. The tune actually is not in that key. It's actually just a semitone lower. Sweet smile. Now, fortunately, thanks to the joy of Mixed in Key, the program, this was a very simple operation. If you've not used Mixed in Key before, I use it for DJing, and it basically gives me the key of each piece of music. But it gives it to me... I can look at it like it's C minor, F minor, whatever. Most dance music's in a minor key, that's why I said minor. But also it can give you it as a number and letter. So what we're talking about here is we have a chart, okay, called a harmonic mixing chart. So you can see each key's got a relative number, yeah, and code. So this is the circle of fifths. Cycle of fifths, look, there's C major over here, look, with G major there and F major there, yeah? Each of them got a number. So the key of La Ritournelle was 5A, C minor. Now, if I had it in 5A or in 6A or in 4A, potentially it can work straight away because these keys are most closely connected to C minor. So the melody may work anyway, if that makes sense. Yeah? If it's in the same key, then bonus. Actually, the key of this one is B minor, 10A. So all I need to do is transpose it up one semitone and it will be in C minor, okay? Mathematically, I just add 7 to this number, and I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, okay? So by moving it up one semitone, I knew it would be in the right key, okay? But obviously, it's not something you'd think, well, how do you fit all that music over that music? You know what I mean? There's a lot going on, yeah? So the first thing we do is we sidechain compress. So I used just the sound of a 606 mid-tom, which is my favourite sidechain compression sound at the present time because it has enough bass and oomph in it, but it's not too heavy. Remember, sidechain compression, the way that a compressor reacts is very dependent on what you use as the sidechain trigger. The longer the decay on the sidechain trigger, the slower the attack naturally on the sidechain compressor. So I like quite short, heavy things. Then I can control the attack by the numbers rather than the sound. That's all. But it's up to you, really. It's up to you what you choose. So anyway, so we use that to pull out all the snares. So all the snares be there have all gone. Fortunately, both of these tracks were done to a click track. They were recorded to a click track, so they were easy for me to tweak with a bit of warpage. Every so often, you'll find I've used a little bit of warpage just to keep things on the nail, yeah? But as little as I had to, really. And on La Ritournelle, that has been nudged around. But because it was recorded to a click, Ableton has done most of that work for me, if you know what I'm saying, rather than me have to sit there and move individual markers. It's done most of that quantizing for me. Anyway, mid-side EQ. So let's start with taking something out of the back. Well, no, actually, let's carry on with this one because we're on here now. So then we'll just remove the low end. Been quite vicious about that. So everything below 150 is gone from this tune, right? that didn't need to be mid-side. That was just across the board. However, then we go into one of these. This is my favourite mid-side EQ because I like being able to see both really separately and clean, and also it has a mono maker, which is perfect for the mono situations. And what I've done here, as you can see, is, if I just focus in, stereo, I've removed even more low end, which is quite typical, and I've dipped out at about 400 to make sure it's not really warm on the outsides, because Lemretnell's got loads of warmth in that strings and the piano and everything. I didn't want it to get in the way. But I have done this. In the middle, I've boosted a little bit of 1K, just to make the vocal pop out of the mix a little bit more up front. So essentially, we've gone from having... Without. That's with it. So I've got rid of all that kind of element of it. Okay, because really what I want is the vocal. So in this one, I've done kind of that, just that. I've gone in the middle, I've pulled out that 1-2K area that I want the vocal to sit in. So the track hasn't really changed a great deal. Ready? It's just got softer. It's not cutting as hard, do you know what I mean? So then when we put the other vocal in, and actually, you know what? Here we go. Sometimes on the backing, I've looped a bit. And then you just, to make that blend in a bit harder, I've just added a delay. Give it a little bit of spatial. So without that, and that mid-side is the way that I've managed to find all the space to be able to put two tracks entirely together, if you see what I'm saying. So by utilising the mid-side, I was able to choose which bits I needed to remove from both the middle and the side to get that vocal to sit right in the middle of the track, but not disturb the other backing track. So for me, mid-side with complex stereo images is just great. I can really sculpt what's going to go where. Okay? And just because I've used a posh one doesn't necessarily mean that that's better than using either this or the linear phase. Do you know what I mean? I just like the layout of this plugin a lot. I also like things about it like, okay, if I go into this mode, one thing that I really love about EQs sometimes is this. So it instantly isolates the frequency when I touch the knob. So I can hear what it is I'm playing with really quickly. And that was fascinating to me. I've never known an EQ to do that before. It's kind of cool. So yeah, it's called A-Listen, by the way, that little effect. And yeah, this bit of it, which is mono maker, is just bloody handy. So I can mono make anything below that frequency straight away. So cool. Anyway, I'm not here to just go sell plugins, right? The point is, I'm trying to give you a good understanding of like where mid-side could be really handy. And what was said at the beginning about monoing basses and producing images that are like this for basses, yeah, like they're cones, is really important. Like within placement for monoizing the sub and getting everything so. There was one thing that Shay was doing with you guys, wasn't he, about basses, split basses. yeah, with EQing and filtering and stuff. And did you look at the stereo imaging then of how they are? Cool. I'd just say add that to this now, if you see what I'm saying. Okay.
Ordinary love.